Look around you for a moment, not at the people who appear successful on social media, not at the highlight reels that fill your phone screen every day. Look at real life. Look at the people around you. The majority of them are living the exact same life they were living 5 years ago. Same habits, same routines, same complaints, same dreams that never turned into reality. They wake up in the morning, rush into another day, work through the same schedule, come home tired, scroll through their phone, watch someone else succeed, and then quietly tell themselves something that sounds very familiar. Maybe one day my life will change, but that day never comes. Years pass, opportunities disappear, energy fades, and the dream that once felt possible slowly becomes something painful to think about. The truth is uncomfortable. Most people will never change their life, not because they are stupid, not because they lack potential, but because they are trapped inside something far more dangerous than failure. They are trapped inside comfort. Comfort is silent. Comfort is addictive. Comfort slowly convinces you that the life you have is good enough, even when deep inside you know it isn't. And the moment a human being becomes comfortable with mediocrity, growth stops, dreams fade, and potential dies quietly. But here is the real question. What separates the people who stay stuck for decades from the rare individuals who completely transform their life? Why do some people rise from nothing, build discipline, create success, and become stronger every year, while millions of others remain exactly where they started? The answer is not talent. It is not luck. It is not intelligence. The answer is something far deeper. It is a decision most people are too afraid to make. And once you understand that decision, you will understand why most people stay stuck forever. Every year, the world witnesses the same ritual. January arrives. People feel inspired. They feel hopeful. They feel motivated. They write down new goals. They promise themselves that things will finally be different. This year, I will start exercising. This year, I will focus on my dreams. This year, I will change my life. For a short moment, it feels real. The motivation feels powerful. The vision feels clear. But something strange happens after a few weeks. The energy disappears. The discipline fades. The old habits return. The early mornings become late mornings again. The gym visits slowly stop. The books remain unread. The plans stay written on paper, but never become action. And before people even realize what happened, life returns to normal. Another year begins to look exactly like the last one. This cycle repeats itself millions of times every year. People promise change, but their behavior never truly changes. And the result is predictable. 5 years pass. 10 years pass, sometimes even 20 years pass, and the person suddenly realizes something terrifying. They are still the same person, the same mindset, the same habits, the same life. The dreams they once talked about with excitement now feel distant, sometimes even impossible. But here is the truth that most people never stop to question. Why? Why does this happen to so many people? Why do intelligent individuals remain stuck for decades? Why do talented people waste their potential? Why do so many human beings live far below what they are capable of becoming? The answer is not simple. It is not a single reason. It is a combination of habits, psychology, fear, and environment. But at the center of it all lies one powerful force, a force that quietly controls millions of lives, a force that feels safe but slowly destroys ambition. That force is comfort. Comfort tells you that rest is better than effort. Comfort tells you that tomorrow is always available. Comfort tells you that small distractions don't matter. Comfort whispers excuses that sound reasonable. You had a long day. You deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. These words feel harmless, but when they repeat themselves every day, they slowly shape your entire life. Because success is never built through occasional effort. Success is built through consistent discipline, day after day, month after month, year after year. And comfort is the enemy of that discipline. Comfort convinces people to delay effort. Comfort convinces people to avoid discomfort. Comfort convinces people that average is acceptable. But the truth is simple. Nothing extraordinary is ever built inside a comfortable life. Every successful person you admire, every leader, every entrepreneur, every athlete, every creator had to fight through periods of discomfort. They woke up, when they didn't feel like it. They worked when motivation was gone. They continued when quitting felt easier, and slowly, those small acts of discipline began to transform their identity. Because success is not created by a single moment of motivation. It is created by thousands of small decisions made when nobody is watching. Decisions to stay focused. Decisions to keep learning. Decisions to push forward, even when progress feels slow. Most people never reach that level of commitment, not because they lack ability, but because they never escape the invisible prison of comfort. And until a person breaks that prison, their life will always remain the same. Most people believe their life will change someday. They believe that one day everything will magically fall into place. One day they will feel motivated enough. One day they will have enough time. One day they will finally start chasing their goals. But the truth is far more painful than that. That day almost never comes. The real problem is not lack of opportunity. The real problem is not lack of intelligence. The real problem is something much deeper. Most people are trapped inside a pattern of habits that slowly destroy their potential. Think about the average day of an average person. They wake up tired. The first thing they do is grab their phone. They scroll through social media. They watch other people living exciting lives. They see people traveling, building businesses, achieving goals, and for a brief moment, they feel inspired. But inspiration alone does nothing, because inspiration without action is just entertainment. After scrolling for an hour, they rush through their morning. They go to work. They do the minimum required. They complain about their boss. They complain about money. They complain about how unfair life is. But when the day ends, something interesting happens. Instead of investing time in growth, they return to comfort, more scrolling, more entertainment, more distractions. And before they realize it, another day is gone. A day that could have been used to improve their skills. A day that could have been used to learn something valuable. A day that could have been used to build a better future. Instead, it disappears. And when this happens once, it seems harmless. But when it happens every single day, it becomes dangerous. Because success is not destroyed in one dramatic moment. Success is destroyed slowly, one wasted evening at a time, one unnecessary distraction at a time, one excuse at a time. Years later, the person looks back and wonders where the time went. But the truth is simple. Time did not disappear. It was traded for comfort. And comfort is the most expensive habit a human being can develop, because comfort never demands growth. Comfort never challenges your limits. Comfort never pushes you beyond average. Comfort simply keeps you exactly where you are. And if you stay in the same place long enough, your life will eventually become a reflection of that stagnation. Dreams fade. Ambition disappears, confidence weakens, and slowly a person begins to accept a life far below what they were capable of achieving. This is the silent tragedy of millions of lives. Not failure, not disaster, but wasted potential. People who could have built incredible things, but never did. People who could have transformed their life, but never tried long enough. People who waited for motivation instead of building discipline. And that is the problem most people never confront. They believe success requires a perfect opportunity. But the truth is far simpler. Success requires consistent effort. And consistency is exactly what comfort destroys. Now let's talk about something even more uncomfortable. A truth that many people spend their entire lives avoiding. Your life will not change until you change. Not your environment, not your friends, not your circumstances. You. Many people blame their situation. They blame their background. They blame their country. They blame their family. They blame the economy. They blame bad luck. And sometimes those challenges are real. Life can be unfair. Life can be difficult. But there is one truth that separates successful people from everyone else. Successful people accept responsibility. They understand something powerful. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. The moment you stop blaming the world, you start taking ownership of your life. And ownership is the beginning of power, because the moment you say, "My life is my responsibility," something changes inside you. You stop waiting. You stop complaining. You stop hoping that someone else will fix your problems. Instead, you begin asking a different question. What can I do today to move forward? That single question is the beginning of transformation. But here is the harsh truth most people refuse to accept. Growth is uncomfortable. Success requires sacrifice. Discipline requires effort. and many people simply do not want to pay that price. They want success, but they do not want early mornings. They want wealth, but they do not want years of learning and work. They want confidence, but they avoid challenges that build confidence. In other words, they want the reward without the struggle, but life does not work that way. Every result has a price. Strength has a price. Discipline has a price. Success has a price. And the people who achieve extraordinary lives are simply the ones who decide that the price of growth is worth paying. They accept discomfort. They accept temporary struggle. They accept that progress will sometimes feel slow, but they continue anyway. Meanwhile, most people choose a different path. They choose the path of least resistance, the comfortable path, the easy path, the path where effort is minimal. But that path has a hidden cost, a cost that is not immediately visible. Regret, because nothing hurts more than realizing you had the potential to build something greater, but you never tried long enough to see it happen. Years later, people look back and ask themselves painful questions. What if I had started earlier? What if I had stayed consistent? What if I had believed in myself? But by that time, the opportunity has often passed. Time has already moved forward, and that is why understanding this reality is so important. Because right now, you still have time. You still have energy. You still have the ability to become someone stronger, but only if you stop waiting for life to change and start changing yourself. To truly understand why most people never change their life, you need to understand something very important about the human mind. Your brain was not designed to make you successful. Your brain was designed to keep you safe. Thousands of years ago, survival was the most important goal for humans. Food was limited. Danger was everywhere. Energy had to be conserved. So the brain developed a system that protected human beings from unnecessary risk. Whenever something felt uncertain or difficult, the brain would signal danger. It would encourage rest instead of effort, safety instead of risk, comfort instead of challenge. And even though the world has changed dramatically since then, that survival system still controls our behavior today. This is why your brain constantly pushes you toward the easiest option. When you plan to wake up early to work on your goals, your brain whispers, sleep a little longer. When you plan to exercise, your brain says, you're too tired today. When you think about starting a new project or building a business, your brain creates fear. What if you fail? What if people judge you? What if it doesn't work? These thoughts feel logical. They feel protective, but in reality, they are simply your brain trying to keep you inside familiar territory. Your brain prefers the comfort of the known over the uncertainty of growth. Even if the life you are living is average, even if the life you are living is frustrating, your brain would rather stay in a familiar struggle than risk stepping into an unfamiliar opportunity. This is one of the greatest psychological traps human beings face. People believe they lack discipline, but in reality, they are simply following the natural instincts of their brain. And unless a person becomes aware of this system, they will continue repeating the same patterns for years. Because every time effort becomes uncomfortable, their brain will convince them to stop. Every time progress becomes difficult, their brain will offer an easier alternative, and slowly, those small moments of avoidance begin shaping an entire life. The person who avoids discomfort today will avoid challenges tomorrow, and the person who avoids challenges for long enough will eventually avoid their own potential. But there is something powerful you must understand. Your brain may create these impulses, but you are not controlled by them. You still have the ability to choose your actions, and the people who transform their lives are the ones who learn how to control their mind, instead of letting their mind control them. Now that you understand the psychological trap, let's talk about the transformation. Because despite all these challenges, some people do change their life completely. Some people rise from difficult backgrounds. Some people overcome years of bad habits. Some people transform their mindset, their discipline, and their future. So what makes them different? What allows them to escape the same patterns that trap millions of others? The answer is not talent. It is not intelligence. It is something far more powerful. They change their identity. Most people try to change their life by changing small actions. They try to wake up earlier. They try to work harder. They try to develop better habits. But they still see themselves the same way. They still believe they are someone who struggles with discipline. They still believe they are someone who lacks focus. They still believe they are someone who cannot stay consistent. And because their identity has not changed, their behavior eventually returns to the same pattern. stubborn. But the people who truly transform their life take a different approach. They change how they see themselves. They begin to build a new identity. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined," they begin to say, "I am a disciplined person." Instead of saying, "I'm trying to work hard," they say, "I am someone who shows up every day." This may sound simple, but identity is incredibly powerful because human beings naturally behave in ways that match their self-image. If someone believes they are lazy, their behavior will reflect that belief. If someone believes they are weak, their actions will confirm that belief. But if someone begins to see themselves as disciplined, focused, and resilient, their behavior slowly begins to match that new identity. This transformation does not happen overnight. It happens through small, consistent actions. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you reinforce the identity of a disciplined person. Every time you push yourself when it feels difficult, you strengthen the identity of someone who refuses to quit. Every time you stay focused instead of giving in to distraction, you build the identity of someone who is in control of their life, and slowly, something incredible begins to happen. The habits that once felt impossible start to feel normal. The discipline that once felt exhausting starts to feel natural. The challenges that once created fear start to create excitement because you are no longer the same person you used to be. You have become someone stronger, someone more focused, someone more resilient, and once a person reaches that stage, their life begins to transform in powerful ways. Opportunities appear, confidence grows, momentum builds, and the life that once felt impossible slowly becomes reality. But remember something important. This transformation does not come from motivation. Motivation fades. Transformation comes from consistent action. It comes from choosing growth on the days when you don't feel like it. It comes from staying committed when progress feels slow. It comes from refusing to quit even when the path becomes difficult. Because every powerful life story has one thing in common. The person refused to stop moving forward, and that decision, more than anything else, is what separates the people who remain stuck from the people who completely change their life. By now you understand something important. Most people stay stuck not because they lack potential, but because they never build the habits and mindset required for real change. So the question becomes simple. If someone truly wants to transform their life, what should they actually do? Not motivational quotes, not temporary inspiration, but real actions that create real change. Let's talk about that. The first step toward changing your life is simple, but incredibly powerful. Take full responsibility, not partial responsibility, not conditional responsibility, absolute responsibility. This means you stop blaming everything around you. You stop blaming your past. You stop blaming other people. You stop blaming circumstances, because blaming removes power. The moment you blame something else for your situation, you give that thing control over your future. But the moment you say, "My life is my responsibility," everything changes. Now your focus moves away from excuses and toward solutions. Instead of asking, "Why is my life like this?" you start asking, "What can I do today to improve it?" That single shift in thinking is the beginning of transformation. Most people depend on motivation, and that is exactly why they fail. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes like a wave. Some days you feel inspired. Some days you feel tired. Some days you feel excited. Some days you feel completely unmotivated. If your progress depends on motivation, your progress will always be inconsistent. Successful people understand something different. They do not rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. Discipline means showing up even when you don't feel like it. It means doing the work when your emotions tell you to rest. It means staying focused when distractions are everywhere. And the truth is, discipline feels difficult in the beginning, but once it becomes a habit, it becomes your greatest strength. Because discipline creates consistency, and consistency creates results. Step 3, another powerful factor that shapes your life is your environment. Your environment influences your behavior more than you realize. If you surround yourself with negativity, complaints, and people who avoid growth, your mindset will slowly become the same. But if you surround yourself with people who are focused, driven, and committed to improvement, their mindset will influence influence you. This is why successful individuals are careful about the environments they choose. They protect their focus. They limit distractions. They spend time with people who challenge them to grow. Because environment is powerful. Sometimes the fastest way to change your life is to change what surrounds you. Step 4. The modern world is full of distractions, social media, endless entertainment, constant notifications. These things are designed to capture your attention. But attention is your most valuable resource. Where your attention goes, your life follows. If most of your attention is spent on distractions, your life will slowly drift away from your goals. But if you learn to protect your focus, you gain something incredibly powerful. Clarity. Clarity about your goals. Clarity about your priorities. Clarity about the life you want to build. And once you have clarity, taking action becomes easier. Step 5. One of the biggest reasons people give up on their goals is impatience. They expect results too quickly. They work hard for a few weeks or a few months, and when success doesn't appear immediately, they quit. But real transformation takes time, sometimes years. Every successful person you admire spent long periods working in silence, improving their skills, building their habits, learning from failure, and slowly creating momentum. The people who eventually succeed are not the ones who start with the most talent. They are the ones who refuse to quit. Consistency over time is the real secret. Imagine yourself 10 years from now. Think about that moment for a second. 10 years have passed. Life has moved forward. Time has continued, whether you were ready or not. Now imagine looking back at the person you are today. What would you see? Would you see someone who stayed comfortable? Someone who waited for the perfect moment that never came? Someone who allowed distractions and excuses to control their life? Or would you see someone different? Someone who made a decision? Someone who decided that their future was too important to waste. Someone who chose discipline when comfort was easier. Someone who chose growth when quitting felt tempting. Because here is the truth. Time will pass anyway. Days will turn into weeks. Weeks will turn into years. And one day you will wake up and realize that a decade of your life has gone by. The only question is this: what will you have built during that time? Will you build regret, or will you build a life you are proud of? Right now, you are standing at a crossroads. One path is easy, the path of comfort, the path of procrastination, the path where nothing really changes. But the other path is different. It is harder. It demands discipline. It demands focus. It demands effort. But that path leads somewhere extraordinary. That path leads to growth. That path leads to confidence. That path leads to the life you once dreamed about. The choice is yours, because the future version of you is created by the decisions you make today. Not tomorrow, not next year, today. So start now. Start small if you have to, but start, because the person you can become is waiting on the other side of discipline.